All right, Shalom. First and foremost, as always, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Racha, Kwadash. I want to give double honors to my apostles at Great Millstone who taught me this truth, and a sincere Shalom to the elect out there teaching this truth in all honesty and sincerity in these last days. All right, and the brother Yashran, and we've had quite a bit of news to go over this past week. Okay, and the main story is these tariffs. Okay, because Trump coined today as, or what was it, the day that the tariffs went into effect as, uh, what was it, Worldwide Liberation Day or something like that. And basically, Trump went and put tons of tariffs on almost every nation in the world, pretty much. Okay, and he enacted what's known as um, reciprocal tariffs. Okay, and he pegged them at 50%. So that means that whatever tariffs a nation has on America, he is going to match it at 50% of that rate. Okay, and it kind of sent the markets into a frenzy. Okay, and it's a real complicated situation to explain because the global supply chain is you know is a very broad spectrum, man. Okay, because you have a lot of American companies that are going to be affected by this. Okay, because it's not because especially electronics, modern day electronics, and phones and computers and high end chips. A lot of them require parts from many different countries. Okay, so it gets real complicated, man. Now I'm gonna go into the negatives and the positives. I went and asked Chat GPT about both, because there really are negatives and positives. But at the end of the day, okay, how everything plays out from this, okay, is up to the Lord. You know, so uh, this is a very serious thing that happened, man. This is a very serious thing that happened because I went and did my research on this, and a lot of these nations, okay, a lot of these nations have had these high tariffs on America for a very long time. We're going to get some scriptures on that, okay? But this is from Chat GPT. It says, what are the negative effects of tariffs? Tariffs, or taxes on imported goods, can have several negative effects on both domestic and global economies. Here are the main downsides. Number one, higher prices for consumers. Tariffs raise the cost of imported goods, which often leads to higher prices for consumers. And that's the big outcry right now because Americans are dealing with inflation as it is. Okay, that's the main concern right now. Okay, this can reduce purchasing power and hurt low income households the most. Okay, so people will have less money to go around. They'll have less money to buy things. Okay, not just necessities but luxury items. You know, reduced competition and innovation. Protecting domestic industries from foreign competition, uh, tariffs can reduce the incentive for local companies to innovate, improve efficiency, or keep prices low. Okay, retaliation and trade wars. Countries affected by tariffs often impose their own in response. Okay, and that's another fear that's going around in the markets, as well as the regular people, man. Okay, that some of these nations are going to band together and create these trade blocks and leave America out of it, or retaliate with their own um, what is it, tariffs. Okay, could lead to economic wars and trade wars, things like that. And I'm on my computer right now. I just checked the Dow futures, and it's down 227 points. It was down 1,679 earlier. Okay, I'm gonna check Asia. Yeah, Asian markets are down big across the board. The Nikkei is down over 3.5%. Um, check, click Europe. Europe's just starting to open, but the FTSE is down. Okay, oil is down. Uh, metals are down. Pretty much everything is seeing red right now. Okay. Yeah, and one thing that markets don't like is uncertainty. Okay. And we know through the scriptures that America is going to piss off a lot of their allies. Okay. And we're going to get them scriptures. But I just want to get through this. So that this may be a drawn out video, brothers, but you know, Lord willing, it's edifying. I encourage you, brothers, to do uh, your own research. Okay. Because at the end of the day, I'm just giving my spiritual 2 cents. Okay. And speaking as somebody who's been studying this shit for a while now. Okay. But at the end of the day, okay, I'm just a man. Okay. I don't know exactly how things are gonna go down, but I do know this. All right. The MOTB is coming. World War III is coming. Okay. The destruction is coming. Okay. And these are the steps that the Most High is putting in place to allow those things. And I'll get into that too. Okay. The Most High is putting things in motion because this is pissing off primarily the EU. Okay. Which is America's main ally. Okay. Those NATO countries. Okay. But number three, retaliation and trade wars. Countries affected by tariffs often impose their own in response, escalating into trade wars. This could hurt exporters and damage diplomatic relations. And that's the main thing that this is doing, is damaging America's diplomatic relations. They already had the world coming against them with Sleepy Joe in office. And now with Trump, you know, doing all these tariffs and everything, and just being a acting like a damn bully on the world stage. Okay, it's pissing off America's closest allies. You know, so they went from an absolute pussy who was falling asleep at the wheel to a guy who's being a straight up asshole about shit. Okay, now if he was gonna do tariffs, right, he should have went about it in a different way. Okay, you can't just go and slap tariffs on everybody. You know, And it doesn't matter if, okay, they've had tariffs on you for a long time, or that they're high, and that they're pricing your industries out. Okay, that doesn't mean anything, man. They're still your trade partners. You still have to communicate with them in the proper way. Okay, I'm sure if he went about it a different way, it wouldn't have had so much damage to diplomatic relations, like it says there. Okay, maybe put tariffs on certain regions, or say, or do something where you guys get in contact with my team, and I'll get in contact with your team, and we'll work out a better deal, because this is not a good deal that we're getting here. Okay, but the Lord put a very proud man in office. Okay. Number four, supply chain disruptions. I was touching up on that earlier. Okay, a lot of these high-end electronics and chips. Okay, they need they require goods from many different nations. Okay, but it says many modern industries rely on global supply chains. Tariffs can disrupt production by increasing the cost of imported parts or raw materials. Okay, economic inefficiency. Tariffs can shift resources to less efficient domestic industries that only survive due to protectionism, leading to a misallocation of resources. Okay? Impact on jobs. While tariffs might protect some domestic jobs, they can hurt others, especially in export industries, logistics, and sectors relying on imported materials. Okay? And there was a big thing about that here, because up here in Western New York, right, we're a border area where we border with Canada. There's a General Motors assembly plant around here, and a lot of the materials that they get go back and forth through Canada. And there's the 25% tariffs from Canada, and uh their auto parts and all that, man, right now. Okay. Number seven, and probably the most important, honestly, is global economic slowdown. Widespread tariffs can reduce global trade, harming economic growth and leading to uncertainty in markets. And that pisses off America's allies even more. Okay, now let's get a couple scriptures on this, because that's a very isolationist policy. Okay, and not necessarily that he's enacting all these tariffs out of the blue, but because he's pretty much doing it uh, the wrong way, man. Okay, he's talking a little too tough, man. You can't just do that with all your allies at once, man. You know, it seems stupid. It honestly seems stupid in a way. Okay, because these are supposed to be your allies. You've had alliances with some of them for generations. Okay, you can't call up a world leader on the phone or something, or organize a meeting. You know, but the Lord's put the spirit on this guy to do some extreme things, man. Okay, and then I'm gonna get a couple of the scriptures, and then we'll get into the positives. Okay, because tariffs are kind of like a double-edged sword. Okay, this is Obadiah 1:6. How are the things of Esau searched out? How are his hidden things sought up? All the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee. Okay? Now, when you look at the tariffs that these other nations had on America, they've had them for a long time. And now that there's no so-called free lunch anymore, okay, because America really didn't have much tariffs on them. Now that the playing field is kind of leveled a little bit, okay, they're letting this place know, like especially the European nations, okay, that they're pissed off about that, man, and they're willing to move on and leave them behind. Okay, they basically weren't really allies. Okay, they were just acting like allies. You know, like a lot of politicians like to say that a lot of nations use America. Okay, uh, the men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee. Okay, because they're really only allies with America because of the money train and probably for the military protection. Okay, and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. So, because a lot of these nations have gotten rich off of America, okay, and that's one of the reasons why it's called a great whore. Okay, it's whored around with everybody, and everybody's lived luxuriously. I mean, I'm primarily talking about these NATO nations when I say that they've lived luxuriously off of America. Okay, they like the scripture says here, they've eaten the bread. Okay, they've enjoyed a lot of the prosperity that America has had hand in hand. Okay, there is none understanding in that. Okay, now this is Revelation 17 and 16. Slacky brothers, let me get a sip of water real quick. So that's been a double-edged sword for me too. I drink too much water at night, and then I end up having to wake up all the time. Okay. Uh, this is Revelation 17 and 16. And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore. Okay? The 10 horns being what? The original EU nations. Before it was even called the EU. Okay? They're going to hate the whore. The whore being what? America. Babylon the Great. Okay? They have no need for this place anymore. You know? They're America's going a different way politically, and now it's going a different way financially. It doesn't the dollars and cents as well as the philosophies don't really match up like that, like they used to in the past. Okay, back when I was growing up, man, America and Europe pretty much moved as one. You know, and over the past years, we've seen that division. That slowly but surely division, man, both politically and economically. Okay, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. Okay, and that is going to eventually happen, man. America's own allies are going to turn on it. And what way to get the world, not just America's allies, but the world pissed off at this place by putting tariffs on every fucking buddy, man. Everybody, you brothers, I encourage you to go through the list. Every single country is listed. You know, And that doesn't look good for those for the nations that they have trade agreements with. You're pretty much breaking an agreement, breaking a contract, man. Okay. And hey, I'll say this. This is a before I get into the positives. This is a good thing that I just want to say off the top of my head. Nike's stock price is in the toilet right now because one of the nations that has the highest tariffs on America is being met up at 50%. Okay, was Vietnam, where they have a lot of factories that do their producing. Okay, almost all them shoes are made in Vietnam, man. But going back into this, this says, what are the positive effects of tariffs? Okay, tariffs can have several potential benefits, especially when used strategically. Here are the main positive effects: protecting domestic industries. Tariffs can shield emerging or struggling domestic industries from foreign competition, giving them time to grow, stabilize, or adapt. Job protection. By reducing competition from cheaper imports, tariffs can help preserve jobs in certain sectors, especially manufacturing and agriculture. Okay. Number three, national security. Tariffs can help maintain critical industries like steel, defense, or industry or energy that are vital for national security, preventing over dependence on foreign suppliers. And that's one of the things that Trump is really concerned with, okay, is energy independence. Okay. And energy independence, if you really notice what he's doing, he's getting the war machine going. You can't really the war machine can't really carry on if they're getting their energy from everywhere. Okay. It's reached its limit, man. Basically, uh, uh, the way Babylon was running, it's reached its limit. Okay, and they need to find a way to keep it going. Okay, because at the end of the day, these elites they need that American military primarily for Israel. Okay, number four, encouraging local production. Higher prices on imported goods may encourage consumers and businesses to buy local, and that's another thing he's trying to do. Okay, bring back American uh, production, boosting domestic production and potentially creating jobs. Okay, and that ties into the MOTB in a sense, man. Okay, and I'm going to explain that because let's say a bunch of these jobs do come back here, right? They do come back here. If you look at what's been going on with this AI, there's been trillions of dollars invested in AI in the United States. The biggest AI platforms are pretty much all American right now. Okay, and Trump wants to make this the crypto and the AI capital of the world. So let's say a lot of these manufacturing jobs come back. Guess what? Okay, again, we got to go back to the scriptures. There shall be no work for Egypt. Okay, yeah, the manufacturing sector could come back, but you ain't gonna be working in the factories, and I'm not gonna be working in the factories. Okay, more than likely. All right, you know who's gonna be working in the factories? The robots and the AI. Okay, so yes, manufacturing may come back to some form here in Babylon the Great, but it ain't gonna be beneficial to Americans or Babylonians. Okay, so when this AI starts making all this money for this nation, right? How are people gonna survive? They're gonna have to institute UBI, okay, some form of universal basic income, man. And what form of payment, okay, or what instrument is going to be used to receive those payments, okay? The MOTB. It's a, even if it may not be on the MOTB at first, it will eventually be on the MOTB. That's been the plan for a while, man. That's why you camp heads, you camp leaders, uh uh from these other groups. I'm not talking about Great Millstone. I'm talking about you other bullshit Israelite groups, man. They got your head up your ass, okay? That's been the plan for a while, man. But you guys will say conspiracy theorists are nuts. That's what Nate was saying. But they've been saying it for years. UBI is not a new thing, man. We've been speaking about universal basic income for a long time on these streets, man. Okay? Isaiah 19:14, the Lord hath mingled a perverse spirit in the midst thereof, and they have caused Egypt to err in every work thereof. Okay? And these tariffs are what? A double-edged sword. As a drunken man staggereth in his vomit, neither shall there be any work for Egypt which the head or tail, branch or rush may do, because they don't need you people to do that work no more, man. Okay? They go use this AI to enslave you, man. You know? You Americans. This is Ecclesiastes 12:1. Remember now thy creator in the days of thy youth, while the evil days come not, nor the years draw nigh, when thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in them. Will the sun, or the light, or the moon, or the stars be not darkened, nor the clouds after or return after the rain? And the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the strong man shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease, because they are few. Okay? The grinding is going to cease in this place, man. And those that look out the windows be darkened, and the doors shall be shut in the streets when the sound of the grinding is low. This is all going to be done by robots and AI, man, and algorithms. Okay, it's all going to be done by the AI. Okay, it's replacing more and more jobs every day, man. Let me get this. Let me continue on. Encouraging local production. Higher prices on imported goods may encourage consumers and businesses to buy local, boosting domestic production and potentially creating jobs. But the jobs ain't going to me and you. Okay. Before I continue on, let me ask it something. I might have to ask it a couple times. Y'all know how these AIs are that use them. In 2025, the United States is experiencing a significant surge in artificial intelligence investments, with contributions from both the private sector and government initiatives. Private sector investments. Stargate project announced on January 21st, 2025, this joint venture by OpenAI, which makes the software I'm using right now, ChatGPT, SoftBank, Oracle, and MGX plans to invest up to $500 billion in AI infrastructure across the U.S. by 2029, starting with an initial $100 billion investment. Major tech companies in 2025, leading tech firms including Amazon, Alphabet, which is Google, Microsoft, and Meta, are collectively projected to invest over $300 billion in AI infrastructure. Amazon leads with a $100 billion investment, followed by Alphabet's planned $75 billion. Venture capital funding. In the first quarter of 2025, U.S. venture capital investments totaled $91.5 billion, with AI companies receiving a record 71% of this funding. Ooh. Yeah, you bootleg Israelite camps? Are you paying attention yet? Where things are going? Okay. Do we sound like crazy conspiracy theorists now? Notably, OpenAI secured a monumental $40 billion fundraising round during this period. Okay, then it gets into the CHIPS Act. Let me guess. I know I've seen it. Come on, Chat GPT. Right there. See, sometimes you gotta check the AI too. The United Arab Emirates has significantly increased its investments in artificial intelligence and related technologies, both domestically and internationally, particularly in the United States. See? UAE's investment in the United States. $1.4 trillion investment framework. In March 2025, the United Arab Emirates, committed to a 10-year, $1.4 trillion investment framework in the U.S., focusing on AI infrastructure, semiconductors, energy, and manufacturing sectors. Okay? Oh, wait, this is interesting. Abu Dhabi's AI powered government strategy. Abu Dhabi unveiled a $13 billion digital strategy aiming to become the world's first fully AI powered government by 2027. Wow. Integrating AI, cloud computing, and automation across government operations. Y'all see where this is going, man? Okay. Let me get this in Isaiah. For you guys that have gone back and forth with us for years about what the MOTB is, man. Okay? You either took the purse, all right, or you teach it for filthy lucre, or the Lord just blinded you, man. This is Isaiah 56:10. His watchmen are blind. They are all ignorant. They are all dumb dogs. Okay? Are you seeing what how the Lord is speaking about you, man? The Lord is speaking about you guys like Johanna and Nate. Even though you have taken that I believe you sold out, you know? you guys that come at us about what the MOTB is. It's becoming more and more apparent every day, man, that people are going to lose their jobs to AI, okay? And they're going to have some kind of marking of ownership in order to receive payments to survive, man, to get necessities, to participate in commerce, to buy and sell, okay? Isaiah 56:10, his watchmen are blind. They are all ignorant. They are all dumb dogs. They cannot bark, sleeping, lying down, loving to slumber. Okay? Now let's get the in fact, let me see if there was anything else here. Well, trade negotiation leverage. That's some of the things that Trump was trying to he's just trying to organize better deals or whatever. But let's get to the heart of the matter here, man. The MOTB, because that's the end goal of all this. That's the end goal of all this. Okay? This is Revelation 13 and 16. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell. Okay? Now, why is this going to be forced on the populace? Have you guys ever thought about that? Okay? Why is this going to be forced on the populace? Okay, because they're, that's how they're gonna that's how they're gonna earn their money, man. Okay, because everybody's gonna be replaced. Just look up some footage of some of these factories that are being built. And Trump wants all this manufacturing coming here. Ain't gonna be humans manning the machines. Everything's gonna be automated. Okay. Revelation 13 and 17. And that no man might buy or sell, because they're gonna have to put the credits on your CHIP, right? Save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 636. Okay? So we know what the agenda of these elites are. It's to get everybody CHIP, man. To get everybody implanted. Just like the inoculation, that was the test run. All right? So till next time, hopefully y'all were edified. Shalom.